Alrighty then, this is me talking to you about this. Why do people lie? Why do we lie? What's the psychology there? Well, let's start, hey? We all know that lying is not the best thing to do. It's a universally acknowledged truth. So why do we do it in the first place? So this article is broken down from a lot of different articles, because I do all the research for this. So we spoke to some psychotherapists and psychologists. The one that stands out is Natalia, and these are the meaningful truths that she decided to share. So why do we lie? Lying allows a person to establish a perceived control over a situation by manipulating it. It's a defense mechanism that seemingly prevents them from being vulnerable. That is, to not open up to and reveal their true self to another person. So to do so comes with the chance the other person rejecting, criticizing, or feeling disappointed with you when you do this. And for a deeply insecure person, this can be quite unbearable. So when someone is lying and is rejected, there's a sense of there being a reason for the rejection. By comparison, when a person opens up and is rejected, this feels to them as though they're fundamentally disliked, which negatively affects their self-esteem. Sometimes people reenact early dynamics by acting in a certain way. Lying or making others check on or distrust them might be an unconscious behavior that gets repeated as a result of past experiences. So, in other words, the person has not learned how to relate to people differently. For example, they may have faced difficulties in their upbringing, such as violent parents, so they had to create a world of their own, often lying to themselves or developing a habit of lying to others. It can also be for individuals that have gone through a larger trauma, a violent trauma, such as rape or other things. I guess that's an extreme there, but if somebody's been hurt and the only way out of it, they believe, is to lie in order to make the person maybe just move on away. And this is mostly from childhood. So keep that in mind when you know that somebody's lying to you. Another video I have is ways to identify that and why do people just do it. Okay, in a sense, as an extension of the defense mechanism mentioned, people occasionally lie to avoid difficult situations and bury the feelings that come up with them, such as guilt and depression, sadness and anxiety. A weaker ego or a low self-confidence makes it more difficult to bear these types of feelings. Lying enables people to avoid situations in which they would have to confront these overwhelming feelings in the short term. So it's important to note that suppressing our thoughts and feelings into our subconscious is not a solution, and that they will affect you in the long term. This is unavoidable and is the basis of the psychoanalytic therapy. Right? So when you bury your feelings into the subconscious, now somebody has to go in there and pull them out, and you're going to have to relive those traumas in order to process them, to pass through them, to move on in your life. So the more lies you have, the more lies you tell, more than likely it's rooted in some or few or a lot of child trauma or past life. I won't say past life trauma. It could be past life trauma, but it's more, over the past, your entire life. It could be you've been rejected in a bar from a pretty girl or a pretty man, right? Could mean a lot of stuff, right? We need to figure out what those things are and to lean more towards the truth, in my opinion and in my experience. So The fear of hurting or letting a person down is another common reason why people do lie. Some people find it extremely difficult to bear the feelings that come with disappointing another person. But is it you that's doing the disappointment, or is it the truth or the facts of the matter that you are the messenger thereof? We can say that this is a selfish reason because it centers around protecting oneself from taking responsibility for the disappointment. The victim usually wants to know the truth, whatever it is. So the person that you're trying to protect usually, statistically, wants to know the truth. Stop beating around the bush, right? Whatever it is you want to call it in your country or in your era. When does lying become unhealthy? In the terms of lying becoming unhealthy, when other person senses that you're lying or have been repeatedly lying, no matter how significant the lie or the reasoning behind it, this affects their ability to trust you. Similarly, if they see through the lies in terms of insecurity or lack of confidence, this may affect their overall judgment and respect for you. Now, a lot of people in this situation do this to friends and family, right? And that's detrimental to your relationships with them. But it's also detrimental to the relationship with yourself. You are a liar. You know that you are lying. You know that you are a liar. It doesn't matter the reason. It doesn't matter, well, I don't want to hurt his feelings. They want to know the truth so they know where you stand and where they stand in the relationship. You cannot create a relationship of lies. It has to be based in fact and in some cases truth. That I'm going to have a video on the difference between fact and truth. So stay tuned. So generally, people are going to be more accepting of others' imperfections when that person is open and transparent about them. In other words, they own their imperfections. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, then we're not meant to be together in a romantic relationship, or we're not meant to be together as a professional partner or as a partner in any aspect of life or in a friendship, an actual friendship. Okay? Often this fact is very enduring to us as humans. It also is very liberating and can be a release for us as individuals when we come clean about our weaknesses and mistakes. This is who I am, accept it or not. Right? And then that's going to give them the power to come out with their weaknesses too. So when is lying actually acceptable and when it is not? Some people may say, lying to plan a surprise for someone is acknowledged as acceptable. Perhaps lying might also be acceptable when it means saving somebody's life. But this must do more with morals and ethics than psychotherapy. For a mental well-being, it's best to strive not to tell lies. In a relationship, being honest means really getting to know each other and obtaining honest feedback, which helps to improve ourselves and our relationships. Often when we are honest and truthful, the other person can help us to overcome our insecurities as well as coming to understand ourselves and better. If we hide things from them, they cannot help. If they are your friend, a friend. This is not Facebook. This is not fuckbook friends, right? This is, their favorite color, right? You know the name of their pet, if they have a pet, right? You know the name of their siblings, brothers and sisters. You may even know the names of their mother and father. Okay? Not this person that I met on Facebook. What is their likes and dislikes? What do they like to do? Where do they like to go? What are their dreams? Have they entrusted you enough, or have you entrusted them enough to tell your dreams to each other? Where you want to go? Maybe you want to go to Paris. Maybe you want to meet in Paris. Maybe you want to, right? Friends. Somebody calls me at 1 o'clock in the morning. My friend calls me, says, I need your help. And I say, where are you? And I'm on my way. That's it. No explanation. They need me. I'm there. That is a friend. Okay? Perhaps it's also important to talk about how we can handle the truth better. Work-wise, being honest helps to highlight organizational problems and learn to avoid mistakes. We can do this in trusting relationships with friends, family, and with colleagues. And if somebody at work is trying to take advantage, then all you have to do is expose that. Okay? Are white lies good or bad? So it's not okay to tell lies even if they're little or white lies. It is still a lie and misleads the person. Lying, however big or however small, creates a gap between you and the other person, and you're not showing what you really think or what you really did. In this way, you're missing out on an opportunity to get to know each other on a deeper, more intimate level. You're destroying the relationship if you have one. So what personality type commonly falls victim to being lied to? So liars do not target anybody in particular. It's like, yep, that's the person. No. It's simply the way they relate to people. Narcissists, psychopaths, on the other hand, do target people who can be useful to them. Right? That said, if people are consistently lied to, it may suggest that either they're not in touch with themselves or really want to believe the lie instead of facing the actual truth. This is why they do not or cannot pick up on clues or signals that a liar always subconsciously will show through their body language. It always takes two people. One is lying to another, so it allows them to themselves to be lied to. So it always takes two people, right? One is the liar, and one is the other one that is allowing the lie to penetrate and get to them. When might you be dealing with a personality disorder or other mental illness? Lying does not necessarily mean that they have a personality disorder. Pretty much everybody lies now and then. Right? But when a person is lying on a regular basis, which is, unnecessarily in order to further their own interest at someone else's expense, right? The question may be raised about their psychological state. Being a compulsive liar can indicate issues concerning the individual's self-esteem, their understanding of what distinguishes right from wrong, or lack of strong sense of self. So, in essence, it's a self-esteem issue. For some reason, the way that people on the outside perceive you is important, and how important that is the number of lies that you tell. Okay? Now, when you lie, the problem becomes the waiting for the other shoe to drop. How many shoes do you have hanging in your closet and above your head and above each individual that you have lied to? How many shoes are there? Can you remember them all? After a time, it's going to build up subconsciously, and it's going to affect you detrimentally. Okay? This is why I don't like people lying to me, and I don't like it, and I soapbox about stuff like this. So don't lie. How are you going to keep up with all those lies when you know what the truth actually is? Okay. That's part one, I suppose, to a multi-part, which I don't know how many parts there may be. But this is just the beginning on a pet peeve of mine, which is liars and people that lie. So, being happy means that, to me, happiness is about truth. You cannot be happy in a sea of lies. Right? You cannot be surrounded by people that appear to you that they love you, or tell you that they love you, and they're lying to you. Even small lies. You're going to the relationship has been damaged, and you're living basically a lie, no matter if it's you telling a lie or somebody else told you a lie. You're living in proximity to or with that other individual in some sort of relationship. It's based not completely on lies, but it's no longer based in truth. Trust is a big deal, right? Especially for married folks. People that are best friends, that are good friends, right? Lying damages relationships, period. Gossip can be a form of lies because you do not have first-hand evidence of anything. Billy told Jane, told Frank, told Jimmy, told Jane, told Frank over there, told Uncle, and then Uncle told me. That is not the truth. That is their interpretations of what was said to that particular individual. There is no truth in that whole stream of junk. And yet it still affects us at whatever level. It affects us as like, well, that sucks. That's, terrible. Why would they do that to me? Or why would they say that about me? Well, they didn't say that about you. There were 5 or 7 people in that little stream of junk. You ever play telephone when you were a kid? Where you sit around in a circle, right? And one person tells the next person, tells the next person, tells the next person, tells the next person. And you put however many people in that loop. When it gets back to the other person standing next to the first person, right? There is nothing that's true. Not one word of that is true. Okay? So how many people does it take? When I played it in school, the third person turned back to the second person and said, "What?" But they couldn't repeat it. So everybody already knew the purpose of the exercise. Whatever that third person was going to say was absolutely not true, and everybody knew it. Okay? So, trust is always damaged in a lie. And trust is a foundation, one of the foundational pillars of relationships. Love is another one, okay? But love cannot be developed without the trust. So, how much you love somebody, it depends on your definition, because I think I have, at last count, 15 different definitions of the word love. So we may have to use a different word on this channel, because I think it's overused, used improperly, and no longer holds its spiritual meaning. Even if I put, unconditional in front of the word, it's still damaged. Okay? Maybe, we can't even go with acceptance. So we'll have to think of something else for that. But anyways, that is the psychological meanings or psychological reasons, so-called reasons. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's call them excuses. Those are the psychological excuses for lies. Happiness is centered around relationships with yourself and with others. So don't lie to yourself. Why would you do that? When you lie to others, you're actually lying to yourself, or you know that you're lying to others, right? And under the universal law of oneness, you're kind of lying to yourself, whether or not you're lying to yourself or to Bob. Okay? That's all there is to it. You cannot be happy when you're a liar. Please be happy.